Hello to my many friends and also to my many enemies. Once again, this is Roosevelt with another episode of Roosevelt Sounds Off. And tonight, or this morning, or whenever you happen to be watching this program, I would like to talk a little bit for a few minutes about something that went on in Chicago this past weekend. Now, many of y'all know who live here in Chicago, Illinois. And even for some of you all who don't live here, I'm just going to say it for your benefit because you might not know that here in Chicago, yes, we have been suffering with an epidemic of violence. I mean, we have had hundreds of murders within this summer and this fall, and they said that we've had the bloodiest October and even the bloodiest August. And many of us, as regular people, sometimes don't actually believe that the epidemic of violence could ever touch us. And many, even like, let's just say big name and famous people, even politicians, sometimes actually believe that the epidemic of violence can't touch them. But on this weekend, it did. To Congressman Danny Davis. He had a 15-year-old grandson, Jamon Wilson. And the story goes how they said that Jamon Wilson, who was 15 years old, who was the grandson of Congressman Danny Davis, was at home. And two teenagers broke into his home, or broke in on him. And one was 15 and there was a 17-year-old girl. And I don't know the whole story, but I can only tell you the story that, you know, has been given through the news and what have you. That there was an argument or some kind of argument about shoes or something, and then a 15-year-old boy winding up shooting Jamon Wilson in the neck and, you know, killing him. So now Congressman Danny Davis is saying that, you know, how could any teenager have an access to a gun and why this and why that? But I have a little bit of a problem. The problem is that these two teenagers who did this thing to Congressman Danny Davis's grandson, the Chicago Police Department wound up capturing these two teenagers the very next day. Now, why is it? I'm wondering, and I wish somebody could answer this for me because sometimes may be a little bit slow and sometimes might not always think, and maybe I'm not the brightest bulb in the package or even the sharpest knife in the drawer. So I'm hoping and praying that somebody would explain to me, how come we have thousands of murders in the city of Chicago that have gone unsolved, but yet it seems like for this one, the Chicago police rounded up these two suspects right away? Is it because that this was the grandson of a congressman, or Danny Davis has some kind of political pull or notoriety or something like that? Or is it that someone like Congressman Danny Davis is so much better than the rest of us? I'm wondering which one is it? 1, 2, or 3? Because I don't feel, to me, the way I look at it, it doesn't matter if a family member has, or people just have pull, or have money, or have some type of political status. No, to me, everybody's life is important. People talk about Black Lives Matter, or, you know, you have a group here in Chicago who support the police department and they say Blue Lives Matter. No, all lives matter. Everybody is special. And whenever somebody is murdered here in this city of Chicago, I think that every single family deserves to have justice. It should not be just because a congressman's grandson is murdered, but yet the police can round up these people the very next day, but act like they can't solve all of these other murders that are taking place here in the city of Chicago. Chances are, you or I could be walking down the street and could be murdered tomorrow, and it would take them weeks, maybe months, if ever, to find our killer. But all because this is a congressman and he has some kind of political clout that they go and find his grandson's killers? No. This kind of thing should not be. And I just believe that, you know, the police department, not only here in Chicago, but all over this country, should go and try very hard to go and solve murders of every single person instead of picking out the ones of people who are more prominent, or people who are politically connected, or people who have money, or people who are rappers, or people who are ball players. No, everybody is special. Everybody's life is important. And whenever something goes wrong to anybody's family member, that family, every family deserves justice in this country. Because if every single family does not receive justice in this country, that means the narrative of justice for all that is said in the Pledge of Allegiance is a complete lie and a complete fabrication. It doesn't work. So no, to me, certain things in the Pledge of Allegiance, it's a lie. There is no justice for all. It seems like you have to be politically connected or have money in order to get justice if you are murdered here in the city of Chicago. This should not be. So no, everybody is special. Everybody deserves to get the same treatment. And everybody deserves justice. It doesn't matter your political status. It doesn't matter your economic status or your job status. Everybody's special. Everybody's life is important. And everybody deserves justice no matter what. So with that, I'm going to leave that right here. If anybody liked this video, be sure to give me a thumbs up. And be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. And hope to talk to everybody soon. Peace and blessings to all.